Now we'll move to Zapier. Zapier is a workflow automation tool. All right. It has been around since a long time. After AI has matured, Zapier has also added steps in the workflow where you can put in AI steps and let AI decide on your behalf. We will try to do that right now. We will all create Zapier workflow right from now. So this part of the section is completely different. And later, as an exercise, I'll give you an exercise where you will use memory from ChatGPT, put it in Zapier. All right. So quickly, if you can open Zapier and sign up. Zapier, the link, I'll put it on your screen. Quickly, please, everybody sign up on Zapier. So everybody, please sign up on Zapier. All right. Once you sign up on Zapier, we will be able to create a very quick automation. And that is an automation that you can actually do for all your tools. All the work that you do, you can actually plug in these automations and certain part of your work would be automatically taken care of. All right. Just open Zapier. You should come on this screen after you sign up. Just give me a thumbs up once you have signed up so that, I'll be able to take you to the next step, which is creating the flow. Give me a thumbs up if you have reached this screen after signing up. You will see your initials on the right hand side. All right. Everybody who has been able to sign up, just give me a thumbs up or a yes in chat so that I understand, people have been able to navigate through the sign up and they have reached the point where we can start with the next journey. Very nice. I see some of you guys already giving me a thumbs up in chat and reactions. Great. How many of you have already used Zapier before? Just write ZAP Zap on chat if you have used Zapier before. Okay. We'll move on to the next step. On Zapier, if everybody is on this screen, right? You have an option here called as assets. You have an option here called as assets. On the left, you have an option called as assets. Just click on that and go to forms. Just go to forms. So what I will do now, I'll create an automation where we will have a form. Okay. On the form, if somebody puts in data, automatically something will happen in the backend and an email will be received by that person, which is the answer of the question that the person is asking. Just go to forms. All right. Once you go to form, you will see a blank screen here. I might see a certain set of forms here. You will see a blank screen. Click on create button on the right. Click on create button on the right and you will reach create forms. All right. Click on create a form. Okay. Once you reach this page, give me a thumbs up so that I understand, people have reached this point. Once you reach this place, give me a thumbs up. Great, great. Very nice. Anybody who has not been able to reach this point, give me a question. I'll be able to answer that on chat. Great. I see. Next is we click on contact form button here. All right. We click on contact form button. I'll give you a small change. All right. Once you click on contact form, there is a prompt which is mentioned here. All right. I'll give you a very small change. What we'll do. All right. We will just say name, email address and an open text box for a message, or instead of message, I will write query or question. All right. I've just changed the word message with query, or you can write question and click on generate form. All right. What Zapier will do, it will use AI and generate a form for you. Okay. So Pravesh, you will have to go to Zapier, the link I just gave on top. You will have to sign in. After you sign in on Zapier, you will see a screen like this. All right. In that, create forms. I hope you have got this. So once you sign up on Zapier, create forms. Once you click on forms, you will reach a screen like this. All right. Now, all the people who created the form will get something like this. All right. It says create a form right away or create a form plus connect it with a table. Just click on create a form and connect it with the new table. Or you can put that in the chat. Great, Pravesh. You have been able to achieve that. Very nice. So all the people who have, clicked on create form, contact form and clicked on generate form, you will see something like this where, AI is asking you a question. do you want to basically create a form? Just type in create a form plus connect it to a new table. All right. And then we will move to automation. And then you click on send. What it will do, it will create a form. It will create an underlying table like an Excel sheet where anybody who enters that data, you will be able to see that data in the table. That's it. Okay. So it will create a form with name, email address and query. Okay. And it will connect the form to a table so that the submissions save. Okay. I will just say yes. So once you do that, all right, you will be able to see the form. I will show you the form. Great, table has been created. Now it is creating a form. So Zapier is actually giving you AI on the screen where you are talking to AI and creating a form right now. Okay. All of you will see something like this. Have you been able to see something like this? Give me a thumbs up if you guys see something like this. Give me a thumbs up if you guys see something like this. So we have done exactly the same steps. Create a form, click on contact form, generate the form, and we are saying table is yes. All right. After that, you should see something like this. This is exactly what we see on our screen also. All right. Now what we will do as next step, right? We will quickly go and check on the top of your screen. Do you see something like this? A link here. Can you see a link here? Everybody please click on that link and you will see a form like this. So this is Zapier giving you a link where people can fill that form. All right. I will just quickly rename the form name. Contact form session in session 5. All right. You will click on this link. Okay. And you will see a page opening up like this. What you will have to do is just put in your name there. I'll just put in NS. Okay. Put in any email address which you have, preferably. This is where you will get the email. So if you want, you can write a proper email address there. And then just put in a query. I've given you sample queries also. I'll quickly give you that. So what we'll try to do is we will try to basically, create an output, which is the answer to this query. All right. So let's say I want to automate my work. What all AI tools should I use? So in your query, I would request you if you can write something like this. All right. I have put it in chat also. I want to automate my work. What all AI tools should I use? All right. And I can say I am from technology department. All right. And you guys can change it with any department that you want, any department that you are from, and click on submit. What will happen is now this form we just tested with a data set and that data was captured. Everybody has been able to do that so far. Give me a thumbs up if all the people have been able to do that. What we did, we created a form. We opened the form. There is a link on top. We clicked on that link. We opened that form. We filled in that data. All right. Now, on the top, you will see a menu. It says Zaps. It says tables. It says forms. It says chatbots. We just created a form. All right. Click on tables now. Okay. So if you look at my presentation also, it says the same things. We saw the form, then we are going and looking at the table now. All right. Click on table. Once you click on the table, you will see all the tables that you have. Okay. And there will be a table which you just created few minutes back. All right. You will be able to see that table here. I'll quickly rename this table. Okay. Contact form submission in session 5. Save it. All right. So now what we have, all of us, we have a form which is contact form in session 5. In your case, you could have named it anything. We have a table which is contact form in session 5. All right. Once I click on this table, it will also show me basically the data which is inside it. All right. It says this is the data which I just created. I want to automate my work. All right. Now what I will do, I'll come back to menu and there is the first option which is Zaps. Zap is nothing but Zapier's word for creating a flow. All right. So after the table, you will go on Zap. We will create a Zap now. This is where the automation workflow begins. All right. Once you click on Zaps and create it, you will see something like this. I'll do it for you. I'll click on create. All right. I'll click on create. On the top, I'll just rename it for simplicity in session 5 Zap. Okay. You will see something like a trigger and an action. How many of you have been able to reach along with us till here? Give me a thumbs up or yes in chat, please. Or we will wait for people to reach. Great. I see a few people. Very nice. I see yes. Great. It's basically so far we have just created a form. This could have been a Google form. This could have been a Microsoft form. This could have been a type form, jot form, anything. All right. What we did is we created a form on Zapier itself so that our output comes out quicker. All right. So that we can show you how these things work. All right. In Zapier, you have two things. You have a trigger, you have an action. All right. So in the trigger is something that will start the process. Got it? Now what I'm doing, I'm clicking on the box which says trigger. It is giving me a list of things which can be the trigger. If you look at the top, there are 7,000 plus applications which you can use. It can be an email inside your Gmail. It can be a file inside your Google Drive. It can be a meeting inside your calendar or anything you want. It can be a Notion file. It can be a HubSpot lead. It can be any trigger. A lead comes in, a flow can start. All right. An email comes in, a flow can start. A calendar meeting is about to come in 2 hours, the flow can start. Now I will quickly select tables here, which is at the bottom. When I click on tables, it is asking me what is the event on the table that I should work on. All right. In our case, we will use new record. So what we want to do, every time someone fills in the form that we just created, the form data would be stored in the table. And whenever a new record is created in the table, okay, we want to trigger this flow. All right. We want to trigger this flow. So a new record and I say continue. Now it is asking me to basically configure. Configure is just telling it this is the table. This is the data that you have to capture. So my table which I just created was contact form in session 5. I am selecting that table. All right. That's all. I'm just telling it which is the table that it needs to look at. I'll click on continue. Zapier allows you to test in real time. Okay. It is basically, I can test the trigger also. Once I click on test the trigger, it will show me a record which is available in that table so that I can test. If I click on this record, it will give me all the data which I entered there. You remember I said I want to automate my work. What all AI tools should I use? And I am from technology department. All right. And I will say this is the OK trigger. I will select. Now coming to the next part, which is what is the action that I should do? Yeah, we will share the recording with you. All right. Now coming to the next part, which is what is the action we want Zapier to do whenever this happens, whenever somebody fills in that form. All right. I am saying AI by Zapier. So I am trying to use an AI step now. It could be any action. You could put in a delay. You can say, I want human in the loop. So you will see all the list of works that you have to do or manually reconfirm. I am saying I want to use AI by Zapier. Once you click on AI by Zapier, you will see a screen like this. So if you look at this, I have done exactly the same in the PPT also. Everything is mentioned. Trigger event, configure, testing, in testing. Okay. In testing, I have basically selected the table. Now it is asking me, what is the AI work that you have to do? I am saying I want a custom prompt here. All right. It is giving you what are the models that you can use. I am saying I want to use ChatGPT 4o mini. It is asking me what is the input field. I've given all the details here. My input field in this case is user query because we want to work on the query that the user entered in my form. user query. Okay. It is asking me which is the field where the query is stored. Now, like Notion, this also has a / option. I just click on this. It will show me all the details which are available in my table. All right. If you look at this, it is saying this is the field which is storing my information. My query is here. So I'm just saying put this and I say save. All right. Over here also, I can put all the knowledge bases of my company, that you have to refer this website, you have to refer these PDF documents, etc., etc. Next step is prompting. Now this is where it gets exciting. I have basically asked anybody to fill a form. I am giving AI a preset prompt that take in that query, do something, and the next step would be creating an output which has to be sent to that person. All right. So I will just quickly see. This is the prompt, but this time the prompt I have split in 4 parts. I will show you why it is 4 parts. All right. The prompt part 1 is act as an individual with an IQ of 145. All right. The reason is I am just giving it a role. Okay. Then I am saying part 2 is /query. What I'm doing in this prompt is I am asking AI to act as a person with an IQ of 145. All right. And then read the information which has been given in the query. All right. I am asking AI to read this information. So this is the part 2. So query is not basically a straightforward prompt. It is partially a prompt, partially the input which I received from the form. In the Excel, if you are, let's say, for example, you are working on an Excel row can be your element here. If you are working on, let's say, an email, the body of the email becomes your element here. All right. This is your part 2. In part 3, what I am telling it is, I am telling it after you read this query, you have to curate a response effectively so that it addresses the content of the message, and the response has to be formatted as an email. So it must be exceptionally user friendly and engaging, and ensure that the output is clear, concise, friendly. Keep in mind that it will, now this is something again I'm doing which is a bit different. You can use it every day. Okay. User query, you can, there is a / option. So if you click on / anywhere, you will have all the options and you will be able to basically select that. So in the input fields, I selected that user query is one of the field. All right. And over here, let's say I'll just do it again for you. In the input field, I'll remove this. I say /. It will give me all the data that is available inside my table. I selected query there. The moment I do this, this becomes available in my prompt. Okay. Then one important thing which you can use across all your prompts. Whenever you're talking to ChatGPT, tell ChatGPT that whatever output that you give me, it will be auto-reviewed by Claude. This is what I have written. Give me an output keeping in mind that it will be reviewed by Claude. And when you are working with Claude, tell it that whatever output you give me will be auto-reviewed by ChatGPT. So AI basically tries to extra check its output when it knows it will be reviewed by somebody. All right. Coming to prompt 4, I am trying to now say in the salutation of the email, all right, we have to write hello / name of the person, which is the person who has filled the form. All right. I just click name, and the part 5 is at the bottom of the email, write thanks AI session 5 output. This is your signature at the bottom of the email. All right. It will evaluate your prompt automatically. You can improve the prompt simultaneously. All right. Once you do this, I will paste this entire thing for you in the chat so that you are able to do this. So in the chat, I will paste this. These are part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4 and part 5. All right. And this is how you will be able to access the user query. All right. Once you do this, this is your prompt. Next step is I am asking Zapier to generate a preview. Okay. Once I click on generate preview, it will generate an output basis this prompt. If you remember my query was, I am a technology person. I want to automate, all right, my daily work. What are the tools I should use? It is giving me hi NS. This is the name. If you remember, this is where we selected the name in the prompt. I hope this message finds you well. Great to hear you're interested in automating the work. It has created an email for me. Zapier is your tool. Microsoft Power Automate is your tool. UiPath is your tool. ChatGPT or any other language model, it is your Vaibhav, this is something which we use a lot. The output will be reviewed by other platform. So basically, your ChatGPT or Claude tries to give you a better output there. Then you have Trello, Asana. It is giving you a list of tools, all right? The next step I am doing is I'm saying finish. After I click on finish, if you just, look at this, the table is your step 1, which is your trigger. Zapier AI, which we just implemented, the prompt is your step 2. Step 3 will be the email, which is the most important part of this automation. I will just quickly search email here. When I say email, I'll say email. Now it is asking me what is the event. I'm just saying I want to send an outbound email. All right. It is asking me to configure. Configuration is very simple. Whom should the email go out to? All right. Logically, the email should go out to the person who has filled in the form. So I will say / new record in the table and analyzes the 2 options which I get on the left. I will say new record, and over here I see the email. I click on this email. Okay. I say subject. What should be the subject? I am saying AI assistant, your personal AI, any subject you can write. And in the body, this is very important. What is the output that you want in the body? If you look at this step, the output of this step is my body of the next step. I'm just saying / the output of second step. I am seeing the output subject line. All right. And explore more tools. So I'm just selecting this. This becomes the output. And I say continue. All right. So it is showing me to the email ID which I put in the form. Your personal AI assistant, exploring AI tools for automation. This was the output that was created. I'm saying test step. This is basically testing the step. Now the last step is you publish the flow. Once you publish the flow, this becomes an automated flow. What I will do for all you guys, I will give you the link to my form, and you guys can simply, fill in that and see the output. I'll show you on screen. All right. I'll show you all the things on screen. I'll just copy this. I am putting the link to this form. All right. I'll show you the email also. I hope I have received the email. I will fill in the form again in front of you. All right. Now, if you look at this form, this is my Zap, which we just created. All right. This was the Zap which we just created. Once I click on this Zap, one very interesting thing is on the left, you will see an option called as Zap runs. This will show you all the time that this was run. All right. Now what we'll do, I will just quickly fill in this form in front of you. Okay. I will say, let's say, for example, NS in session testing. I will say my email is, let's say, AMQUEST. All right. AMQUEST students. And I'll say the query this time. I want to understand how AI can change my day-to-day work. I am from HR team. All right. This is my query. Let's say you all can fill in your queries there, and I click on submit. Okay. It gives me a message. Thank you for submitting. Over here, if I come here, all right, I can quickly go and check in my tables. I think the data would be visible here. So if I go in tables, I go on this table. You see this data, NS in session training. Okay. Over here, if I go on Zaps, if I go on my Zap runs, I go on Zap runs, I refresh this Zap run. You see this at 5:30, a run happened. If I click on this, I will be able to see each step. This was the email. I want to understand how AI can change day-to-day work. I am from HR team. You see the query. Over here, this was the output that was created. Recruiting automation, employee engagement, training and development, predicting chatbots, and it gives me an output. And the last step was email. It sent an email to amqueststudents@gmail.com. We will check if we have received this email somewhere. One important thing, because it is a bulk email system, you will have to maybe check. You see this? In the spam, I received your personal AI assistant. All right. Report not spam. I'll go to inbox. All right. I should see it here. Promotions, social, where did it go? Spam, all mail. Yeah. So you see this? Hello NS. This was my name, which I entered there. AI technology has immense potential to enhance your various functions within HR. And it has given me the entire output of my question. So what I did is I actually created an automated flow on Zapier where whatever question I put in, it will create an output using AI and send it to me on email. All right. I send the link on this chat. Anybody can put in that link and you will be able to get that output. All right. I see Radha has tried it. Okay. How many of you were able to get this output? How many of you were able to, work along with me? All the steps have been mentioned here. How many of you were able to get this email on your system from your Zapier? I see a thumbs up. Can you give me yes if you were able to do this along with the flow? We were able. If you want, I can redo this entire thing again in the next session, because I understand this is a very important system where you can actually automate everything. You can take an Excel sheet, create a dashboard automation. You can take an Excel sheet, let's say, for example, you can put it in a drive folder and automatically it will pick up that file and send it to 100 people. All right, you can do this. All these things are doable within Zapier itself. Okay. If you want, we will do this again, maybe in the first 15-20 minutes of the next session. All right. How many of you feel you will be able to automate your flows and add AI steps inside your flow? I actually added an AI step. I did a form. I stored the data. I added an AI step. And then as an output, I got the email also. All right. How many of you feel that you will be able to create a flow and add an AI inside that flow? Give me a thumbs up or a yes if you feel you will be able to do this from here on. Nice. So we'll take that feedback, and if you want, we can add this Zapier. So Vaibhav, the point is, if we just open the tool, all the integrations are available. Maybe somewhere you will receive need some help from your IT team. But if you're trying to do some practice session, you can do it on your personal emails, etc. You can associate your Drive, you can associate your emails, you can associate your calendar, Notion, any tool you want. So basically it has 7,000 plus integrations. You can associate ChatGPT, you can associate Claude, you can create triggers from all those things. Basis triggers do certain actions and give an output either on email or on Google Sheets, Google Word, anything. All right. So as an assignment, what you guys can do, you can see if you can take in RSS feed. What we do in one of our flows is we basically have an RSS feed where we have associated 10-20 good websites. All right. And Zapier sees all the news available on those websites, filters the latest tools, and sends that out as an email to my relevant team every morning. So my marketing team gets an email if there is a relevant marketing tool which has come up in the last 2-3 days. My sales team would get that tool which is relevant to them. Other team would get something that is relevant to them. So you can actually manage RSS feeds and create a morning email about whatever topic you want. All right, we'll share this assignment also with you. So Shreya, I think Zapier flow is done.